We're all familiar with the log cabin quilt. This is 1861 to 1865. It's probably the time frame that it began to become popular. This is where they started. It's still done today. Back of it here. Our 50 years, Ron and Ellie Held, Our Family and Homes on the back. I have an embroidery machine, so sometimes I do something like that. But then this is just a regular sewing machine stitch. There's lots of important dates about our life, when we got married and where, our kids and grandchildren, and the places that we lived.
And did you machine embroidery or hand embroidery?
No, that's machine embroidery.
All in there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
So,
what a treasure.
Right. I had made one, it actually fits on the bed, for our 25th anniversary. There was a 100th anniversary, Cape Cod National Seashore, and they wanted to have a display. So we had to make quilts. This was taken from a picture my husband looked out of the lighthouse at Wood End, up in Race Point Light. I asked a bunch of people what kind of fabric. Here's some, looks like driftwood. Has 93 pieces. And it was all sewn with 1/4-inch seams. And then trimmed. Sally Collins, if you ever get a chance to get her book, The Art of Machine Piecing. A lot of these were all her. I learned how to accurately piece using that book. This is an Amish 9-block, 1914 to 1929. They used a lot of black, a lot of bright colors. One of the treasured quilts in our family. Okay, this is 1875. It was made for my husband's family down in Norwalk, Connecticut. And again, this was not a quilt that was used every day. We have velvets here, and these are all satins. And there are places there where it needs to be repaired. They used to put silver or some kind of something in the fabric to make it weigh more. So when you bought fabric, if it weighed more, you paid more money for it. But over the years, that has caused some of these fabrics to deteriorate. This one has lasted so well because my mother-in-law had it in her cedar chest, and I have kept it in the cedar chest. I don't put it in my house because I have primitive furniture. It just doesn't go, but I finally told her I'll take it and preserve it for you. So it's tacked in the back, if you can see some spots there. The other side of the family that lived out in the country, Coventry, Connecticut.
Wow.
So you can see the difference. This has no batting, so it might have been just used as a summer coverlet. I was telling somebody earlier, I have my great aunt's treadle machine, and I decided one day, because I'm pushing myself to learn something new all the time, I was going to make a whole quilt on her machine, and I call it Auntie's quilt. So these are all flying geese, thank you, and tried to do it with all reproduction fabrics, and tried to do it in a style like this. And that goes back to about 1830 to 1850, that particular pattern. So, and that's pieced. Well, they're all pieced. These are all quilted by hand.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did it by hand. It was machine sew. But then my thumbs gave out. Okay, this is the Underground Railroad block. Okay, it's 1861 to 1865, right around that era. It's just an example of one of the Victorian quilts. There's lots of them scattered around the house here, so if you walk around afterwards you'll see more, but you'll recognize it because of the types of fabric. It was hard to find these kinds of fabric. So some of them, a lot of them, because it's a crazy quilt, had all kinds of different embroidery patterns, and I thought it would make a wonderful little quilt. It was actually longer. It had some coffee stains on it. And I kind of put it in something that takes stains out of old linens. I went to pull it out of the water. It fell apart. Oh, I was so disappointed. But then this one lady who teaches this, she travels all over the country, said you can always save a quilt, you know. So I took this and I cut it down and I added pieces here, added pieces there, and tried to quilt around it. And this is the only quilt I've ever put beads on. And this is really micro stippling. I did it so close. So it was the first time I did that and the only time. So, and you know, I even quilted to around the crocheted.
How do you do that?
You just get your machine going and you just move it just the teeniest bit.